They sold my car to buy her a phone, so I bought the dealership and repossessed it silently. Mia's heart began to race when she found out. The news hit her like a punch to the gut. They sold my car to buy her a phone? She couldn't believe it. The soft floral scent of her old Honda clung to her like a memory, and now it was gone. Traded for a shiny new smartphone she didn't even want. The betrayal burned. Memories of late-night drives with friends, the laughter spilling from the windows, now just shadows in her rearview mirror. How could they? The tired lines on her mother's face, the way her sister always seemed to get the best of everything. It hurt. Mia felt like an afterthought, the footnote to their story. Her pulse quickened with a cocktail of anger and jealousy. No more. With a fierce determination blooming within her, Mia made a wild decision. She didn't just want her car back, she needed something bigger. She sought vengeance through ownership. Just days later, she found herself in meetings, negotiating in a world she never thought she'd enter. The dealership was a money pit, with flashing lights and the scent of new leather that filled her nose with both dread and excitement. By some twist of fate, she managed to eye it, equipped with a dossier of clever plans and a heart full of ambition. Little did she know, the walls held secrets. The whispers of financial strain seeped out like confidential emails. Mia overheard conversations about debts, unpaid bills, and pressure that made her chest tighten. It wasn't just her. Her family was trapped in a cycle, and that smartphone was but a small band-aid on a festering wound. It felt like the world was tilting. Then there was her sister, the vibrant, bubbly girl who seemed untouchable. Mia noticed something between the lines of her sister's posts. The facade of joy veiled a deeper sadness. Liam, the high school boyfriend, had vanished from the picture, and whispers of anxiety slipped from the cracks of their cheerful portraits. Mia felt a pang of empathy mixed with her anger. Was it possible she was just as lost? The stakes were rising. As Mia plotted her confrontation with her family, visions of dramatic reveals and emotional breakthroughs swirling in her mind, an unexpected crisis crashed into their lives. A warning from the bank about possible foreclosure loomed over dinner, the air thick with tension. Mia's heart raced as she saw her mother's hand tremble. Everything felt fragile, like glass about to shatter. Caught between betrayal and a desperate quest for familial love, Mia stared into the abyss of her resolve. She clutched her phone, her lifeline to secrets unspoken, wondering if reclaiming her car could also mean reclaiming her family. What else might she uncover in the process? Questions swirled in the air like the dust motes in the dim light of the dealership, leaving her spinning on the edge of uncertainty. Hey, before we continue with this incredible story, I need to give you an important warning. Many subscribers have reported that YouTube removed their subscriptions without warning. Just take a quick look at the red button below to make sure you're still subscribed to the channel. I don't want you to miss any exclusive content that's coming. And since you're there, leave that powerful like that helps me a lot with the algorithm. Oh, and tell me in the comments, which city are you watching from? I love getting to know each incredible person who is part of this community. Your participation makes all the difference. Let's interact. Mia's hand trembled as she held her phone. She needed answers. It felt like a ticking clock, each second pulling her closer to confrontation. Her mother seemed distant, her sister lost in her own struggles. Mia thought of her plans, each step meticulously crafted to expose the truth lurking beneath the surface. But then the dinner buzzed with tension, the air thick and electric. Voices faltered, forks clinked against plates, and the familiar rhythm of family dinners pulsed around her. Suddenly, the front door burst open. It was her father, disheveled, wild-eyed, and breathless. The chaos that followed felt like a scene from a movie. "Mia, get your mother!" he yelled, his voice sharp as shattered glass. They all turned. Eyes wide and hearts racing, her heart dropped into her stomach. What was happening? Rushing to the living room, Mia found her mother standing rigid, her expression shifting from surprise to pure fear. "What's going on?" she stammered. Mia's own confusion blended with dread. What had her father stumbled into? Then he spoke, the words barely forming, but enough to send ripples of shock through them all. "We're being investigated. The dealership. It's not just the bills. There are allegations, suspicious activity, money laundering." His voice cracked under the weight of the revelation. A collective gasp filled the room, drowning out the ticking of the clock. Mia's pulse pounded in her ears as her mother's face turned an ashen gray. What? Reality warped around them. Mia felt as if the walls were closing in, the safe space of home morphing into a prison. Her father ran a hand through his hair, desperation flickering in his eyes. "They think we're involved, Mia. I don't know how, but they have files, names, your name." His words hung in the air like a crushing weight. Mia's breath caught in her throat. Her name? How? Suddenly, all the stressful chatter she overheard at the dealership suddenly made sense in a horrifying way. She glanced at her sister, who had gone pale, the light in her eyes dimming. "Was this connected? Why didn't you tell us?" Mia felt the anger surge back up, mixing with fear. How could they keep something like this hidden? Every sleepless night, every worry about money and stability felt like they'd been standing on a fragile cliff, ready to crumble the whole time. "Mia," her father said, voice trembling with shame, "I thought I could fix it. I thought we were safe." But the words echoed in her mind. Safe? Nothing felt safe anymore. Just when she thought she had a grip on their problems, a deeper darkness sank in. The golden glimmer of her dreams, of reclaiming her car, her family's affection and connection, slipped further and further away, replaced with shadows and fears. Then came the chilling sound of sirens, their high-pitched wails collapsing in through the open window. They were coming. The whole world felt suddenly out of control. "Mia," her mother's voice broke through. "We have to leave. Now." Panic painted her mother's face. Mia stood frozen, heart racing. Could she really trust everything she thought she knew about her family? What other secrets lay buried, waiting to explode? The weight of uncertainty and fear pressed down heavily as they scrambled into action, her mind racing with terrifying possibilities. Would they face the truth together, or be torn apart in the chaos? And in that confusion, Mia couldn't shake the question. How much of the story had she been missing all along? As they dashed toward the door, her heart thudded in sync with the sirens approaching. And she wondered if this was just the beginning of a greater nightmare waiting to unfold. Mia stood in the doorway, panic coursing through her veins. The sirens wailed like a funeral dirge, echoing her dread. "We have to go," her mother urged, but Mia was frozen. The world felt unreal, like trying to remember a dream after waking. They scrambled through the house, her father leading the way, urgency dripping from every move. The door was wide open, a black hole into the unknown. "Why didn't you warn us?" Mia yelled, her heart pounding. The weight of her family's silence crashed down on her. She could feel the ground tremble beneath them. As they bolted down the hallway, a sudden force hit her, something sharp, like a cold iron spike. The sound of glass shattering echoed behind them. Mia whipped around. The front window, it hadn't just broken, it exploded, sending tiny shards flying like deadly confetti. "Get down!" her father shouted, but it was too late. She saw it, a figure in the shadows, a masked silhouette lurking in the yard, holding a gun. The reality hung in the air. thick and suffocating. Fear wrapped around her spine, tightening like a vice. "Who the hell are you?" she screamed, her voice cracking. Her heart raced, hounding against her ribcage, fighting to get out. The figure moved closer, stepping into the light. Mia's stomach dropped as recognition hit her like a freight train. "No, it can't be!" The words slipped out before she could stop them. "Surprise!" The masked face smirked, lowering the weapon. It was Ethan, her brother, the one she thought they lost years ago. She barely remembered him, just a flash of a happy boy and memories fading like a sunset. "Ethan?" Her voice trembled. "You're alive?" "Alive and well," he replied, his tone laced with mockery. "But your family sure did a number on me." He stepped closer, the shadows twisting around him like a bad omen. "Mia, stay back!" her father shouted, pushing her. But it was too late. Ethan's presence was a whirlwind of chaos, opening wounds she thought were long healed. "Why are you doing this?" Mia felt a knot in her throat, bitterness rising. "Why now?" "Because this family has secrets, Mia. Secrets that need to be unraveled." He gestured wildly, his voice rising dangerously. "And you're all tangled in them." Just then, a loud knock reverberated through the house. The door shuddered, and two uniformed officers burst inside, guns drawn. The air thickened with fear and shock. "Drop the weapon," one officer yelled, pointing directly at Ethan. The moment hung in the air, suspended between fear and confusion. Mia's world flipped upside down, the pieces shifting in ways she couldn't fathom. Ethan's eyes widened, filled with a wild mix of fear and rage. "What did you tell them?" he snarled, turning to Mia. "What did they make you say?" "I don't know what you're talking about." The reality blurred. She looked between the officers and Ethan, shaking, feeling utterly helpless, just like them. "You don't know anything," he mumbled, the darkness in his gaze deepening. Suddenly, the sirens outside faded, replaced by a chilling stillness as the officers waited for a signal. Every eye was trained on Ethan, confusion and tension crackling like electricity. Mia felt torn apart. She was on the brink of uncovering the truth, and now it felt like she was about to lose everything again. "Ethan, please!" Tears began to spill as fear clawed at her heart. "You don't have to do this." But he simply laughed, a hollow sound that echoed ominously off the walls. "Oh, Mia, you have no idea what's really happening here." And just like that, the foundation of everything she thought she knew cracked open. The sirens were a background score to the chaos unfolding. Every heartbeat felt heavier than the last. Would they survive the storm of secrets and lies spinning around them? Or would they be swallowed whole? Standing on the edge of everything shattering, Mia couldn't shake the feeling that this was just the start. Mia's heart raced as the tension morphed into chaos. The officers were shouting, and Ethan stood rigid, his eyes darting between the lawman and the family he hadn't seen in years. The air crackled with uncertainty, every breath heavy with fear. Her father's voice cut through, urgently demanding Ethan to drop the gun. But Mia felt lost. Time slowed, the world outside fading, leaving only this moment. Then Ethan broke into a shaky laugh. "You think they're here for me?" He shook his head, madness swirling in his eyes. "You have no idea what's really happening." Her mother clutched Mia's arm, trying to pull her back, but Mia was glued to the spot. What did he mean? Everything felt fragile, like glass about to shatter. The officers were tense, guns raised, ready for anything. "Put the weapon down," one hollered again. Their shouts pulled Mia out of her trance. "Ethan, talk to me," she pleaded. "What is going on?" Every word felt like it could break something fundamental between them, yet she couldn't hold back. She needed answers. He stepped back, lips twisting into a nasty smirk. You should be more worried about your own family than me. You have no idea what they've done. Suddenly, the sound of breaking glass came from the kitchen. A dark figure surged into the space, another unknown threat. Mia's stomach dropped. There was movement everywhere, the chaos tightening like a vice around her chest. Then the lights flickered. Darkness washed over the room, followed by confusion and chaos. Ethan seized the moment, a rush of adrenaline flooding him. "You can't trust them, Mia," he shouted, scrambling toward the nearest exit. "Stop!" the officers yelled in unison. But their commands fell on deaf ears. The lights flickered again, illuminating the room just enough for Mia to see Ethan's frantic movement, darting towards the door. And just like that, everything spiraled into a disaster. In the chaos, her father lunged forward, trying to stop Ethan. The unexpected clash was fierce, a whirl of bodies, entangled in a desperate struggle. And then it happened. The loud crash of a commotion, the sickening thud of a body hitting the floor. Mia's heart froze. She pushed herself closer to the fray, panic gripping her as her father hit the ground, lifeless eyes staring up at her in shock. "Dad!" she screamed, her voice cracking. The world shifted beneath her feet. "Get back!" one of the officers shouted, moving toward her. The second officer was already wrestling with Ethan, a flurry of movements as they fell over furniture. Mia stumbled back, numbness cascading through her limbs. Silence enveloped the house. Her eyes were glued to her father's still form. "No." The words slipped from her lips. Quiet despair wrapped around her heart. This wasn't real. It couldn't be. She turned to her mother, whose face was pallid in the flickering light, a mask of grief and disbelief. "Mia, we have to go." Her mother's voice broke through the haze, urgency flooding through her words. But Mia couldn't move. Everything felt surreal. Ethan, the officers, her father, like a nightmare she couldn't wake from. "Why? Why was he here?" she gasped, memories of her family's tightening grip now feeling utterly false. The truth she desperately needed to understand slipped further away, replaced by screams echoing inside her head. The officers were struggling with Ethan, words blurring into a cacophony of chaos. Then one officer shouted, "This isn't just about him, it's about you too." Mia's mind was racing, trying to piece together what that meant. As the smoke of confusion and grief loomed, a new thought crept in. What if Ethan was right? What if everything she thought she knew, every relationship and bond, had been shrouded in lies? An officer turned, breathless, eyes wide. "Mia, you need to get out of here, now." In that moment, the gravity of everything twisted in on itself. The room was saturated with secrets, dread, and a truth that could rip her family apart forever. The sirens outside began to wail again, and the world outside threatened to swallow them whole. Could she trust her family? Could she trust herself? As her mother's grip tightened on her arm, Mia felt a flood of uncertainty wash over her, mingling with an unsettling truth. Nothing would ever be the same. The foundations of everything she believed trembled, leading her into an abyss of confusion, leaving more questions than answers. With the future shrouded in shadow, they bolted towards the door. But Mia turned back for one last look at the wreckage of her family. And in that moment, the weight of betrayal hung over them like a storm, one that had only just begun to break. "Sure, here's a corrected version of your prompt, maintaining the essence of your request while ensuring clarity and coherence. Please provide text in English, using names and expressions that are common to English speakers in various countries. Adapt the names, places, and cultural references to reflect the shared culture of the diverse peoples who speak the language. Ensure that they are natural and recognizable to an English. She wanted to scream, to run, but all she could do was look from her father's motionless body to Ethan's wild eyes. "What did you do?" she whispered, heart hammering in her chest. "Not me," Ethan hissed, shocked disbelief twisting his face. But just then, one of the officers lunged, trying to subdue him. It was a blur, shouting, grappling, arms flailing in a desperate attempt to control the spiraling chaos. Suddenly, another figure burst into the room. A woman, her face pale. Features recognizable even in the shadows. Lily, their long-lost aunt. The surprise sent shockwaves through Mia's body. "Get away from him!" she shouted, rushing forward as if to protect Ethan. The room spun with confusion. "Mia, what is happening?" her mother cried, pulling Mia back, panic light in her eyes. "That's your aunt." "Mom, Mia stammered, feeling the walls close in on her. A sense of betrayal seeped through her, the threads of family crumbling around her. "Mia!" Lily's voice was sharp, slicing through the fog. "You have to listen to me. They're not what they seem." She pointed at the officers, fear etched into her features. "They've been watching us, investigating ever since they got involved with the dealership." Mia's heart dropped again. "What do you mean? Why didn't anyone tell me?" Anger bubbled up, boiling over into frustration as she looked at her father. The lifeless body made it all so real. "Because it's connected to your family's past, honey. Your father wanted to protect you. He thought—" Lily hesitated, breath hitching, as though the truth tasted bitter. "Thought what? That hiding it would keep us safe?" Mia's voice rose, the weight of every secret pushing her to the brink. Tension thickened in the air. Ethan, now calmer, exchanged a glance with Lily. "What really happened?" he demanded, stepping out of the officer's reach. "Who are they? Why are they here?" Before anyone could answer, a loud noise jolted them. The front door whipped open again, and an unexpected figure stepped inside. Frank, Mia's childhood friend, but his expression wasn't one of relief. It was grim, panic lacing his features. "We don't have much time," he shouted, breathing hard, chest heaving. "What do you mean?" Mite replied, confusion swirling. "The dealership is a front. They're involved in something big, something dangerous." Frank's eyes darted to the officers, and Mia's heart raced. Was he talking about the police? "They're not here to help." Ethan's voice rose with panic. "We have to get out." Just then, the officers moved toward Lily and Ethan. "You can't run," one officer barked, and the other held his weapon steady. Mia's mind was racing, a whirlwind of truths and lies. The family she thought she knew was crumbling, secrets spilling out like ink on paper. What had her father really done? What if they weren't all innocent? What if this nightmare was just the tip of the iceberg? "Stop!" Mia shouted, stepping forward. "I can't lose anyone else." "Don't worry about us, Mia," Lily yelled, fear amplifying her words. "We need to focus on getting you out of here." But then everything went dark again, the lights flickering out, plunging the room into chaos. Shouts mixed with the sound of crashing furniture. In the silence that followed, a scream pierced the air. It was soft but chilling, like a whisper of doom. Shocked, Mia felt her breath hitch. What just happened? "Mia!" Frank yelled in the darkness. "Get back!" The darkness felt alive, swirling like a storm. And then an unmistakable voice broke through the haze. It was her father, weak but fierce. "Mia, A sudden flash of light ignited the room, revealing her father standing. But he wasn't alone. He was holding something, a small device, the buttons flashing ominously, as if it were counting down. Fear washed over her. "Dad, what is that?" His eyes widened, filled with terror. "Run!" Now! The truth was unraveling, and whatever came next, Mia knew this was just the beginning. The countdown pulsed ominously, leaving everyone frozen in shock. What would it mean for them? And at what cost? Mia's heart raced, glued to the moment as her father held the device. The air felt charged, almost crackling, and the countdown flashed ominously. Every second felt like a drum pounding in her ears. She reached for her father, desperate for him to explain. "What is that?" she asked, fear creeping into her voice. Just run, Mia," he repeated, his words shaky, eyes wide with terror. Then another crash. The front door splintered as more officers burst in, their shouts mixed with the cries of chaos. Mia stumbled back, adrenaline coursing through her veins. They were surrounded. "Get down," one officer yelled, taking cover behind a doorway. "Everyone, get down!" Mia squeezed her eyes shut, heart pounding as confusion spread. The floor felt unsteady beneath her. "Dad!" she cried, reaching for his hand. Suddenly, the timer on the device blared, a high-pitched wail stealing the air from her lungs. "It's too late!" Ethan shouted, eyes wide with disbelief. "No!" Her mind raced. The weight of the secret hung over them, drenching the room in dread. But then, a light flickered on the device, and everything changed. Her father stepped back, face paling. "It's not what you think. Please," he gasped, and Mia felt an invisible wall slide between them. The countdown stopped, and with a deafening pop, the device burst into clouds of colored smoke, bright, swirling, and thick. The chaos froze for a split second, blurring the lines between panic and confusion. And then, reality warped. Faces twisted. Anger in the room morphed into laughter. And for that heartbeat, everything felt surreal, like a scene from a bad dream. Mia blinked, and there was Ethan, but not as she remembered. His expression shifted, eyes brightening with something darker. "Did you really think I came here for you?" he barked, voice suddenly calm, cold like ice. "This family is a nest of lies, and I'm the one here to expose them." "What?" Mia's breath hitched. She felt the ground beneath her shift, her heart racing. "Ethan!" Lily shouted, stepping back, her face pale. "What are you talking about?" "We're family!" He laughed, but it wasn't joyful, it was twisted, a deep, echoing sound. "Family?" he spat. "You think this is about family? This is bigger than you know. You have no idea what's really happening here." Just then, the smoke illuminated the hidden figures that stepped out from within, shadowy figures cloaked in black. Mia's eyes widened. Who were they? The air thickened. Tension locked around them like a coil, ready to spring. The officers raised their weapons, and a chorus of shocked gasps erupted. "Who are you?" one demanded, fear evident in their voice. Willie stepped forward, shaking her head, disbelief marring her features. "What is happening, Ethan? What's in that device?" But Ethan just smirked, his finger tapping his temple, as if he held the answers to everything. "Secrets so deep, you'll wish you never found them," he said, voice dripping with malice. Mia trembled, words caught in her throat. All her life, she'd fought to understand her family, the hidden layers, the lies that wrapped around them. And now, everything she had thought was true imploded in front of her. A figure behind Ethan raised their arm, pointing at the officers. "It's time we ended this," they declared, voice smooth, icy steel cutting through the smoke. Mia's stomach dropped. "What does that mean?" she gasped, pulse racing as she trembled. "Everything you thought you knew about your father, about us, it's just the beginning. The game is so much bigger, Mia." As the shadows closed in, her world blurred and twisted painfully. The sound of tension was deafening, and Mia felt the walls close around her. What did he mean? What game? And just like that, all she could feel was the flame flickering in her chest, a burning urge to uncover the truth, even if it threatened to consume everything she held dear. And in that low-light spectacle, filled with smoke and unseen danger, she realized this was only the beginning of a much darker story. Mia felt her heart pound as she stood at the edge of chaos. Smoke swirled around her, thick and suffocating. The shadows stirred, and Ethan's eyes glinted with something dark. This family is a nest of lies, and I'm the one here to expose them. Her stomach dropped as fear gripped her. What did he mean? Suddenly, the smoke cleared just enough for Mia to see her father holding that device, trembling in fear and urgency. "Mia," he started, but before he could finish, the sound of glass shattering echoed through the house. A rush of footsteps thundered from the hallway. Mia turned, eyes wide, as another figure burst into the room. It was Charlie, a friend of the family, but his face was twisted in terror. "We need to go. Now!" he yelled, panic lacing his voice. "What's happening?" Mia shouted, trying to grasp the stranglehold of reality slipping from her fingers. "They're coming for us. The original deal? It was bigger than you think." Charlie's voice cracked, urgency spilling from his lips. Mia's head spun. "What deal? What are you talking about?" She wanted answers, but it felt like the ground was crumbling beneath her. Just then, the officer closest to Ethan shouted, "Everyone needs to calm down. We have this under control." But Mia saw panic in the officer's eyes. It didn't feel controlled, not at all. But then, through the chaos, a booming voice broke in. "Enough!" It was a woman, stepping into the light. Mia squinted, her heart racing. It was Sylvia, the dealership manager, but she looked different. Intense, energized, almost electric. "You men," she declared, pointing at the officers, "have no idea who you are messing with." The smoky air thickened, and Mia could almost feel the tension slam against her. "What do you mean?" she whispered, the lump in her throat growing. The whole world felt unstable. A sudden explosion of movement surged through the crowd. One officer lunged at Sylvia, but she dodged quickly. A sly grin plastered on her face. She pulled out a small device just like her father's and held it up. "You think you're here to take people down? You're wrong. I have the evidence to prove your secrets." Mia blinked, struggling to process the storm swirling around her. "What evidence?" She glanced at her father, confusion painted across his face. "It's not just the dealership," Sylvia whispered, eyes glinting with the secret she was ready to tear open. "You all are tangled in a web far beyond this." Before Mia could react, she saw Ethan begin to shake, eyes widening in realization. What did you do?" he stammered, a mix of anger and dread washing over him. In an instant, Mia felt an icy shiver. "Ethan?" she uttered, not understanding why he seemed so afraid. "Everyone step back," Sylvia yelled, pushing through the chaos. "This is going to change everything." And then, it happened. A blinding light erupted from the device in her hand, painting the room in hues of blue and white. Mia squinted, but she couldn't look away. Shapes and shadows morphed, flickering like a glitch in the world. Then it stopped, a sudden suffocating silence settling around them. Mia felt an unnatural heaviness, as if gravity itself shifted. She looked around. Panic seized her gut. Everyone stood frozen, eyes wide. Then the ground shook, a rumble beneath them. Mia stumbled, fear rising. The walls vibrated, and she thought she saw cracks growing. But what really sent chills down her spine was the revelation hanging in the air. "Mia!" her father shouted, eyes alive with terror. Run! Just as she turned to escape, the ground buckled underfoot. A loud crash echoed, and right before her eyes the floor split open, revealing a dark, gaping chasm ready to swallow them whole. "Dad!" she screamed, heart thundering. "Get out now!" He pushed her toward the door, but she hesitated. Her gaze locked on the abyss, where shadows writhed and whispered secrets she was not prepared to hear. As fear turned to terror, Mia found herself torn between safety and the pull of the unknown. The darkness beckoned, promising truth, but at what cost? As the room started to crumble around them, she made her choice. The moment she leaped, the darkness surged, engulfing everything. A scream escaped her lips, echoing into the void. And just like that, everything shifted. The reality she knew disintegrated, leaving only the haunting question: what secrets waited in the depths, and would they ever see the light again? As the darkness surged around her, Mia felt a wave of dread wash over her. The ground trembled beneath her feet, and she grasped at the air, reaching for something solid, something real. She was about to plunge into the unknown when the chasm erupted with a blinding light. The walls of the room vibrated, a sound like thunder rumbling in her ears. "Don't look back!" her father shouted, but the moment felt suspended, time holding its breath. With every heartbeat, the world around her shifted. She felt drawn toward the void, as if something within it called to her. But just then, a voice sliced through the chaos like a knife. "Mia! Wait!" She froze. It was Frank, his eyes wide with urgency and fear. "You don't understand. You can't go in there." "Why?" she shouted back, desperation clawing at her throat. "What do you know?" Frank hesitated, glancing at the dark figures emerging from the shadows. "There's something you need to see. Something I didn't tell you before." Before she could ask what he meant, the ground ruptured again and chaos exploded. The room changed. Everything warped and twisted. Mia felt disoriented as the light from the device shot out in every direction. Shadows danced across the walls. Suddenly, her father grabbed her hand, pulling her back. "Mia, now!" Their eyes locked, and she saw fear in his gaze. Not just for the chaos around them, but for something far deeper. Then, without warning, the cloud of smoke coiled like a serpent, wrapping around them. Mia gasped, her heart racing as she was pulled closer to the center of the storm. The room became a swirling vortex, logic and reason tearing apart like paper. But between the chaos and the light, a figure emerged, a woman, illuminated and fierce. Mia's breath caught as recognition crashed over her. It was her mother. "Mom!" she gasped, confusion flooding her mind. She hadn't seen her in years, not since. But the woman's face was not the comforting one from her childhood. It was something darker, as if years of pain had warped her entirely. "You have to listen to me carefully, Mia. It's all connected." "Connected?" Mia shook her head, heart pounding. "What are you talking about?" "The dealership. The lies. It's part of an even bigger game." Ethan lurked in the background, anger radiating off him. "Mom, you were supposed to stay away. You promised." With those words, the realization crashed down like a tidal wave. "Ethan? What do you mean?" Mia felt the world suddenly tilt. "You knew about this?" But before he could answer, Frank shouted again. "No, you don't understand. She's not who you think she is." The statement shattered the fragile peace that had been holding amidst the chaos. "What do you mean?" Mia felt the blood drain from her face. "Who is she?" In the split second that followed, her mother stepped forward, determination hardening her features. "Because I'm not your mother, Mia. I'm part of something much bigger, and we're running out of time." Every fiber of Mia's being screamed in denial. "What?" The words escaped her in a choked gasp. It felt as if the very ground beneath her was crumbling into nothing. Frank? She turned, desperation clawing at her. What are you saying? I'm saying. His voice cracked, fear tangled with urgency. The truth is, she's been lying to all of us. Your whole life has been a cover-up, Mia. The room spun. Mia's world collapsed around her. The echoes of their revelations thundered in her ears. How could this be real? Just then, the ground beneath them shook again, and with a deafening roar, the floor split wide open. The darkness below yawned, eager to swallow them whole. In that moment, it all became too much. Betrayed, confused, and terrified, Mia grasped for clarity amidst the whirlwind of chaos. A scream bubbled up from her throat, and she was thrust toward the void, about to be consumed by the truth she didn't yet understand. Her heart thudded violently as she realized the gravity of it all. Would she be lost forever in this chasm of lies, or could she fight against the tide of destiny that threatened to pull her under? Would she face her mother, once before everything plunged into darkness? The unknown swallowed her scream, and just like that, Mia's world was turned upside down. Mia felt herself teetering on the edge of the unknown. The darkness loomed below, swirling with secrets and despair, and she swayed, her heartbeat a frantic drum in her chest. As her eyes met her mother's, she searched for coherence amidst the chaos, but all she found was a mask of uncertainty and unresolved pain. Mom, please, what do you mean you're part of something bigger? She didn't want to believe it. Not now. Mia, you've been sheltered from the truth. It's all about the deals, the money. Her mother's voice broke, shaking as the panic in the room crescendoed. Before Mia could process it, Ethan burst into her line of sight, shaking, his eyes wild. No more games, Mom. We're not doing this here. His voice was sharp, a swell of fear laced with command. Mia, Frank called out, his eyes frantic. They got to your mother first, and now they're coming for you. What are you saying? She yelled, clutching her head as reality twisted around her. The words spun like a tornado, disorienting. Her fingers trembled, the weight of truth crashing over her like an avalanche. Then suddenly, the ground shook once more, and from the depths of the chasm, a bright light erupted, so bright it blinded her. Mia shielded her eyes, a scream clawing at her throat. What is happening? Just as quickly as the light surged, a figure emerged from the radiance. A man, tall and imposing, stepping from the shadows in a sleek suit that glinted ominously. Enough, he commanded, voice booming. Everyone froze. The world went silent, the tension almost palpable. Mia's heart raced as reality settled in. Who was this? Mia, he said, his gaze piercing through her like ice. You don't know me, but I know everything about you. You're more than you think. What? She whispered, confusion mixing with fear. Who are you? I'm here to collect. The debts are high, and the price is your family. A gasp erupted from Ethan, his hands clenching into fists. No, you can't do this. The man smiled, a chilling curl of his lips. Whoa, but it's already set in motion. You're in deeper than you know, little brother. Your family ties are the least of your concerns now. Mia's breath hitched, realization dawning. Brother? She echoed, the words sticking in her throat. This wasn't just about her mother anymore. That's right, the man continued, eyes narrowing. The legacy runs deeper. You've inherited more than just a dealership, Mia. Your family is tangled in something bigger, something that could either save or destroy you. Your choice. A chill coursed through her veins. The weight of his words hung like lead, as if the very air had thickened. Suddenly, it all made sense. The whispers, the glances, the hidden boxes in the attic. Her family was woven into a tapestry of secrets that could threaten not just their lives, but the lives of everyone they loved. Then, without warning, the floor beneath them trembled violently. A loud crack echoed as fissures spread, roaring like thunder. Mia's heart dropped as she grabbed her mother's hand. "We need to go, now!" But the man laughed, stepping closer as the ground shifted. "You can't escape what you are, Mia. You're all entwined in this. It's not over." In a frantic rush, Mia pulled her mother and Frank, dashing toward the doorway. The darkness yawned behind them, but suddenly the room exploded in chaos. Shadows swirled as if alive, closing in on them. Just as they stumbled through the door, a blinding light surged once more, illuminating the entire space. The walls bowed grotesquely, shattering like glass as the revelation threatened to swallow them whole. "Watch for the truth!" Ethan yelled over the din, his voice barely reaching her through the roar. "It's not just about survival." Then came a chilling voice from behind. "You've all been pawns in this game, but the next move is mine." Her stomach twisted as she glanced back, terror flooding through her. The figure had shifted, projecting deeper shadows into the light. The blinding brightness faded, but the threat loomed larger than ever, and Mia couldn't shake the feeling they had crossed an unbearable line. As the ground shook violently, doubts piled up like rocks. Who was the man? What did he want? And how deep did the secrets run? Would her family survive what was coming? With fear surging, she ran into the chaos, determined to find answers, knowing only that the real game had just begun.